Global warming. What is global warming? Global warming is the increase in the Earth's average temperature over a long period of time. So last week we talked about the greenhouse effect, which is trapping of excess heat in the Earth's atmosphere and on Earth by those gases that are in the atmosphere. And that extra heat heats up the Earth and causes global warming. So our picture here is showing us what the Earth should look like all the time. And we have some areas on Earth that have started to look like the second half of the picture. Dry, lots of sun, cracked ground due to extra heat. All right, so global warming is happening due to the greenhouse effect. Remember, we said the greenhouse effect is good, but the excess gases that's trapping extra heat, that's where our problems come in. All right, so we have now to deal with global warming. What causes global warming? Global warming occurs when the greenhouse gases, such as carbon dioxide, released by people burning fossil fuels, trap excess heat in the atmosphere, causing the planet to get hotter. What is climate change? Climate change includes global warming, but refers to the broader range of changes that are happening to the climate of our planet. What are the effects of climate change? Melting glaciers, early melting of snow with increase in temperature, rising sea levels will lead to flooding when ice melts, disruption of habitats such as coral reefs where the sun bleaches and kills the coral reef, migration, rising temperatures on land and sea are increasingly forcing animals to move to cooler climates. Here we have some pictures that are representing some of the effects of climate change. So we have here where we seeing a glacier that would have melted, glaciers and icebergs and all these very large snow masses, ice masses out in the Arctic and Antarctic oceans would have started to melt. And there we see a polar bear hanging on. We don't know for how long. And when these big ice masses melt, of course, the sea level will rise and ocean levels will rise, and this can cause a lot of flooding eventually. We look again, we see sandbags at the edge of an ocean because, again, sea levels are rising, and when rain falls, you're going to have flooding. Ice is melting. You see a car submerged in water, okay, because probably there's nowhere for it to run off. Everything is backing up with water due to rising sea levels. And we have a coral reef that is being bleached by the sun. We have the pretty one, which would have been existing many years ago. And we have the coral reef white. The corals have died. We have the classic example in Tobago, the Bucco Reef. We have very large areas of our Bucco Reef that corals have died and they're all white. So when we go down there with the boat, we are no longer allowed to come out on the reef. We have to look at them through the glass bottom boats, and we're not allowed to come out and walk around because we can crush them. Some of them are just trying to start back up life in the reef. So these are some of the things that happen due to climate change. What are the effects of climate change? Severe droughts will cause more water shortages and increase the risk of wildfires, dried ponds and lakes. Excessive rain that can lead to flooding, allergies, asthma, and infectious disease outbreaks will become more common due to dust. So if we look here, we're going to see some pictures of those effects of climate change. You can see one where the ground is clearly cracked, all the water has dried out. You have large cracks in the earth because of the excess heat of the sun, and we are feeling the effects today. Today we go outside and the sun is really, really hot. And some of this is due to climate change, increasing temperatures. As we look at the next picture, we can see a pond that is very, very muddy. It's drying up. It's shallow. You have animals there probably hoping to come to get water. But because it is drying up, it's not as full as it should be. It is very close to the mud, so it looks very muddy. Again, rising temperatures have led to drying up of ponds, lakes, even some rivers and waterfalls have dried up due to this. Here we have another area that is flooding again with rising ocean levels, rising sea levels. When it rains, the water is backing up. There isn't any space for the water to flow back out into the oceans. And here we have Saharan dust. We are accustomed with this in Trinidad and Tobago. We have lots of dust in the atmosphere. Sometimes it seems hazy and gray, and we have lots of kids that suffer from asthma, sinuses, allergies. The dry dust from the heat, all the water is drying up, and you'll have dust just blowing through the atmosphere, causing all these allergies. So again, these are the things that are happening due to climate change, which is a result of global warming being caused by excess carbon dioxide and greenhouse gases trapping heat on Earth.